that all the pop culture stuff we love seems like it's riddled with political and agenda stuff, or that it's so much more prominent than it was before. I don't even know how to define it anymore because it's just so overwhelming sometimes.
Well, I have noticed that it's kind of infiltrated every aspect of all the fandoms and all the pop culture that I've grown up with. Seemed like it started kind of in television and comic books. I think Marvel Comics really is where it kind of started. And as it started infiltrating its way in, it crept off into the TV shows, then into the movies. And finally, it is actually caught up to the gaming industry. So now it is in the games. And it's kind of like the current battle I'm really fighting the hardest because I'm a role player from way back in 1980. So it's like what, almost 38 years now, 38 years, something like that. So the fact that all of the spaces that I have enjoyed are being basically taken over, infiltrated, or otherwise just completely replaced by, politics and things like that is just kind of, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's like, I thought the idea behind going to go see a movie, watching a program on TV, reading a comic book, playing a video game, or even sitting down and playing a role-playing game was to escape from modernity, from modern problems and everything. The idea was not to, just submerge yourself in all the aspects of these problems until they're just, raging out of control in every aspect of your life that you can't get away from it. I mean, to me, that kind of just seems like a recipe for just depression on a scale that, would drive most people to suicide if you're just constantly being inundated by the message.
You because you're a teacher, do you pick up on the students? Like, how do they perceive it? Do they perceive any of this as being maybe weird or odd, or how do they pick up on? Because when you're just around them, and I know whenever my wife and I were doing stuff with the youth, we pick up a lot of what they're listening to, what they're watching, what the buzz was, for lack of a more boomer phrase. What do you have a sort of a finger on the pulse kind of thing about their perspective of some of this?
I wouldn't say, well, I mean, that's kind of the thing. The kids, they don't have the attention span to sit through a movie for the most part. And movies are too expensive anyway. If they're watching a movie, it's because, mom loaned them some money. More than likely, if they're catching a movie, it's because it's on, digital, on cable or something, and it's something that the folks are watching. $5 a comic book, they're not reading the comic books. They don't care about the comic books. Heck, most of them have never seen a Star Wars movie. Very few of them know much about Marvel movies. They don't care. This is not their thing. You ask them about Pokemon, they might know some of that. I mean, because some of them play those things. They know about YouTubers, skateboarders, things like that. They have their own interests. They have their own niches, and ain't none of it the stuff that we're into. Occasionally you might find a few that are into Dungeons and Dragons and stuff, or just getting new into it, but they're not hardcore like we are. And at $45 a book, they really can't afford to get into it. So anything the kids get into, it is usually because the parents bought it for them, or they're introduced to it by the parents and they're interested in it. But they kind of have their own thing. I mean, Minecraft is very popular. It's mega popular.
Yeah, Fortnite, stuff like that.
Fortnite is massively popular.
Really big on Fortnite. They know about every skin, every little thing that happens on Fortnite. It's crazy. Yeah, still that and Minecraft, I think, are the two that still stand out as having a lot of legs. A little bit on Pokemon still, and Pokemon kind of comes and goes. Like, it seems like it's going to phase out. Next thing you know, that's what they're all talking about. New this, new that. I'm like, oh, okay, guess it's not dead yet. But you're right about it's funny how Marvel, DC, Lucasfilm, Disney, even the Warner side of things, seems like they want to placate to this younger crowd or whatever, and they're so less interested than we were, even though we were broke too. We went through our broke phase, but it seemed like we always found ways to get something, to
Mm-hmm.
get content, whether it was like movies or TV or comic books. And I know there's a price difference in some ways, but obviously inflation and stuff. But reality is it's like there's just like you said, it's TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, stuff on their phones. Has that just, in your opinion, just completely replaced so much of what we were doing? It sounds like it to me.
I think so.
Like
For one
60
thing,
60% would be even for your busy kid doing sports. The rest of their life is doing all that stuff too.
yeah, it's either video games, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. They don't do Facebook at all. That's for the old people.
Yep, people like me.
Yeah.
Where I have too many photos to I have too many photos to abandon. I still stream stuff there. It's funny how people who comment boomers like me, but that's okay. It's funny.